Hello, Health Science 4502 students. This is Professor Van Dyke with your weekly video. Now, this week is going to be a little bit different because you have your first midterm, which is this Wednesday, September 23rd. Now, I've already posted your midterm, so if you go to Blackboard, you'll see that it's already there. I want to give you this week to really think about the answers and do a good job. Invest your time. I don't tend to grade very hard, but again, the more thought that you put into this, the better your outcome is going to be in regard to your future success. And these are the kinds of things that you really want to be able to utilize. So the questions are designed to make you think a little bit. There's certainly a lot of leverage in regard to the answers of these questions. The more you put into them, obviously, the higher your score is going to be. But certainly, they're designed to make you think. There aren't true right and wrong answers, as I had mentioned before. The answers are designed to facilitate your future directions. If you were a manager or you worked with a crew, how would you make sure those individuals are safe? This gives me an opportunity to look at your answers. As I'd mentioned before, I grade fairly easily, but it gives us a chance to have some dialogue in regard to maybe possible directions that I would take, or whether or not I think you're really putting a lot of thought into the answers. So please keep that in mind. You have essentially have this week, which is week 5, to do your midterm, but to really think about those answers. And as I'd mentioned before, I would advise you to collaborate with the other 9 students that are in your class. Talk about these things. You're going to learn from each other, and I would encourage you to do so. This is an opportunity for you to figure out how your other classmates are thinking, the directions that they're going to take. Now, obviously, you need to write up your own answers, but make sure that you put a lot of thought into that. So this is your first midterm. Go ahead and get started on it at any time. Most of you still have to do your lab 4 as well, which has some similar questions in regard to some of the information that you're putting forth. I would invest most of my time in the midterm. As you know, the midterm is worth a lot more points than lab 4. So make sure and get lab 4 done, but also focus your attention on your midterm. Now, because there's not a lot for you to do this week in regard to study materials, I encourage you to think about the toxic substance that you want to write on. What chemical do you want to write on? And a lot of the information that you can get for your chemical is going to come from like an SDS, but certainly you're going to want to look at permissible exposure levels, recommended exposure levels, threshold limit values, things like that. So make sure and kind of get started on that. Don't let that date get away from you. So make sure that you have a good grasp on what you're going to do, and start thinking about how you're going to put that together. That way you're not crushing at the very end to get it done. Now, as I'd mentioned before, with your first midterm, there really aren't any right and wrong answers. But put yourself in the position of the manager and really think about this from a standpoint of how would you like to be treated as an employee? But more importantly, how do you steward the lives of the people around you? Because if you do a poor job as a manager or as a leader of your team, the outcome could be fatal. And that's really something that's important to keep in mind, that you want to protect people. And if if OSHA guidelines say that a standard is at a certain area, and you see that ACGIH is suggesting other things, what do you do as a manager? Do you look at cost analysis and make decisions based on that, or do you consider this from an emotional standpoint? How do you look at these things? And that can be a challenge. So keep that in mind. Do a great job on your midterm. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Again, email any questions you have to me at william.vandyke@csusb.edu, and I look forward to your thoughtful responses to midterm number 1. So it's already posted. You can get started on it at any time. You can turn it in anytime before Wednesday at midnight. Um, that would be Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Just to clarify, make sure and get it to me. And if you want me to take a look at your answers early and make suggestions on how you can improve your answers, I'm always happy to do that as well. But again, do a good job, and I look forward to your responses. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.